Hi everyone, it's Gary Nicholson here. This is your Planning Outlook video updated on Friday the 17th of August. Now, there's not too much changing in the weather pattern over the next week or so, with generally rather damp west or southwesterly winds bringing rain or drizzle onto western mountains in particular. The wind strength will vary from day to day. Just a hint then in the later part of the upcoming week that fresher conditions, brighter conditions will develop from the northwest. In the short term, though, it's a breezy day for Saturday. We've got trailing fronts across central and southern Scotland, producing low cloud, rain and drizzle, persistent for a good many hours across the southwestern part of the Highlands, Dumfries and Galloway as well. Bits of drizzly rain on western coastal hills in the northwest Highlands, not too much getting toward the Cairngorms, and likewise drizzly conditions across West Wales and northwest England with low cloud across the hills here. The little area of low pressure that's moving in toward the west of Ireland is a former tropical system, and that will come in overnight into Sunday to bring some heavy rain. Now, the worst of that rain will track across Ireland into the south of Scotland and the north of England overnight, but it leaves a persistently damp day. This chart may underdo it to some degree, but the general theme of fronts trailing from west to east and a zone of rain, northern England, the south and central parts of Scotland too, for much of Sunday daytime has got to be the picture. Lots of low cloud across the hills. Even once steadier rain fades, it's going to be a rather murky picture. The far north and northwest of Scotland should just be away from the worst of this, though, and you may well get a decent day with light winds in this part of the world. Rather blustery just to the south of those fronts, though, across Wales, and again a lot of low cloud in a humid atmosphere. Now, detail is somewhat tricky into the new week. Broadly, it's a humid southwesterly airstream with rain and drizzle coming in from the Atlantic on fairly weak weather fronts, but just enough to keep things persistently damp with low cloud across many western mountains throughout. Highest cloud breaks towards the Cairngorms and across the Lake District towards the northeast, say onto the North Pennines. You may get some higher breaks developing. But a rather damp and murky picture out further west. The wind may just strengthen a touch through the day as well on Monday. Again, don't treat this chart with absolute certainty of the position of that front, but the idea of another rather humid atmosphere, murky conditions, rain and drizzle, look as though it's focused more on western Scotland, but some damp, murky conditions could be around again further south across western hills in England and Wales. Brightest conditions once again across more eastern regions of Scotland and onto the Pennines. So stay up to date with your local details, updated every day via our website. Now, as we go through midweek onwards, it just looks as though a subtle change of wind direction eventually takes place as we get towards about Thursday, and we find more of a west by northwesterly flow setting up. Low pressure passing north of Scotland towards Scandinavia, enough to drive some showers and maybe windy conditions, but brighter skies trying to develop, cloud bases tending to lift as humidity lowers for a day or so later in the week. We may well find that much of England and Wales just sees scattered showers and a good deal of dry weather, with high pressure trying to nudge towards us just from the Azores. A few days of cooler conditions at the very least will be around. Then as we head on into the weekend, it seems as though the high to the southwest just tries to build in across Britain, always just the risk of some further Atlantic weather fronts skirting around the high towards the north of Scotland, whether that's affecting the mountainous areas or the fronts get steered a bit further north, hard just to say at this stage. We may still just need to watch out for rather mixed conditions across the Highlands, especially in the north and west, through into the weekend, whilst much of England and Wales and possibly the south of Scotland sees largely fair conditions heading into the weekend. Now, I've just jumped to a different model chart now, and this is the theme going into the final few days of August, and not all the models absolutely the same at this stage. There's some uncertainty about how much the westerlies still continue to affect Scotland, but fairly high pressure looks as though it's in charge. The bump, the ridge, and the colours shown here just indicates the presence of higher pressure at middle layers in the atmosphere, and that's trying to build in further across Britain and northwestern Europe, so that's scope for drier conditions on the whole, warmer conditions again as well for a few days toward the end of the month. Just watching how much that southwesterly flow still interferes with the northwestern Highlands of Scotland in particular. That's the uncertainty, but overall it looks a reasonable picture for a fair end to the month. So we'll keep an eye on that one and update you in the next video, which will be on Tuesday. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.